uh, Aston Martin Valiant.
No, I
Valiant.
didn't. I didn't ever say that. All right, and we are live. This is your boy DC Moore.
This is Ken Johnson, K Johnson, whatever you want to call me.
Okay, that's what's up. What the world? I know doggone well.
Yo,
Anyway, so we're gonna start at the top of the hour. It's 5:43 where I'm at. It's 6:43 where K Dog is at. Top of
yeah.
the hour. We are talking about the BMW
So we're gonna talk about
M5.
Bema.
Yeah, and we just want to get a quick idea of what is our take on the M5 and how the M5 suits you. Do you think it meets your criteria? Um, do you think it meets what society or the fans come to know the M5 suit? Do we meet those criteria of the fan? And so does it play that fanfare? So that's what we're gonna get into. I'm gonna pull up the M5 right now. That car show, BMW M5. All right, we're gonna share our screen in three, two, one. Screen. Okay. So Kenya, I'm gonna lead in with you since this is what are your take on the
I
M5? Like,
mean, I'll tell you one thing. Like, I like the fact that to be honest, like the fact that they got rid of that side body cladding on the bottom and they made it
mm-hmm.
a single tone color really does make it look like a proper luxury BMW saloon. Like that made a big difference. I like the M5. I like the 5 Series. I like it in a single tone color.
Okay,
Um,
that's
and I
understandable.
and honestly, aesthetically, man, it's one of the it looks good. It's one of the better looking cars they have right now. Um,
Okay, okay.
I think so. I mean, the M340 that's one of the ones that bucktooth grill. I'm glad it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have that. I'm
Okay,
glad.
okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I mean, I like it in the green color. Um, and now I know that now if you're talking about looks, are you talking about just the way it looks?
I'm talking about the whole looks. Let's start out with the looks. So you like the looks, you like the execution. Okay, so what about
Yeah,
the package?
this is actually like okay, this is what I feel like. Yeah, that body cladding didn't work, and I'm so glad it's gone for this. At
Mm-hmm.
least at least in this trim that I'm looking at that we're looking at right now. And
Uh-huh.
but other than that, I mean, I like the front fascia. Um, I think it looks good. It's clean. It's cohesive. And overall, this is actually a good looking car. Inside and out, the interior, you know, looks good. Now you can't get the car with those super sport bucket seats anymore. So they just gonna offer it with the regular M seats, and
Okay.
that's okay. And the I know that a lot of people are gonna be mad at the fact that it's not even so much that it's a hybrid. It's just that they didn't. Well, if we're gonna make hybrids, and hybrids is the future, we have to figure out how can we make them less cantankerous. I'll say that it's heavy. Like the car is 5,400 pounds,
Yeah,
five
almost the
thousand four
same
hundred pounds.
same weight as a Chevy Silverado. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty heavy.
there are some SUVs, mid-size SUVs that weigh less. 3-row that weigh less than this. So it's a heavy car, and um, it's always been one of the complaints that people have had about electric vehicles. They fast in a straight line, but they're heavy. I'm glad that they have a V8 though. That's what I do like. Um,
Yeah,
and that's something that I'm glad they did. But it's the thing is that it's a very heavy car. The a Tesla Model S weighs just under 5,000 pounds. A Tesla
that's
Model S
crazy.
Plaid, and so it weighs more than a Plaid, and it only has 717 horsepower compared to 1,000 horsepower. So, and it's the same class size vehicle. And so my question is, I guess, like, how is a car really going to handle? Um, how are they going to disguise all of that heft? Um, it's possible because we have to remember, maybe it's possible. I'm not sure, but I have not read reviews on how the Panamera Turbo SE hybrid handles. But I know that is also a mid-sized class sedan, same kind of the same length and body width as a 5 Series,
Yeah.
and that's a heavy car. But I've heard nothing but good things about the way all the Panamera models have handled. So did BMW figure out the secret sauce? Because we all know that they get good reviews on their EVs, right?
Yeah.
And so all their EVs, they weigh more than their regular gasoline counterparts, but a lot of people like the way their EVs drive. The i4, people like the way that drives. And so have they figured out some type of formula for disguising, the 5,400 pounds, which is sounds nearly impossible to. There's really no substitute for heavyweight.
More power, and that's about it. And
Yeah, more power and a very stiff suspension and some very big brakes and some big wheels. They and that
mhm.
and it's some maybe the steering is a little bit more aggressive and they'll try to disguise the weight of the vehicle that way, but there really is no complete substitute for a lightweight vehicle.
Okay.
So I think a lot of the M5 purists who love the naturally aspirated V8 in the past by itself are going to miss that part about this car. But
Yeah.
it might be right now a necessary evil due to the fact that they being compliant with CO2 emissions is getting more difficult, throughout the years. So this is one of the ways to get that average across their lineup down. So they went hybrid. They
Yeah.
wanted to keep the V8, so they went hybrid. Um, I'm glad they're still making a mid-size sedan. There are some out there that don't believe in sedans this size, Cadillac. So good for them, man. I like the M5 though. I like the way it looks. Um,
Okay.
the question is, how's it going to do the Salam? How's it going to do in the skid pad test? Um, how's it going to do in the Moose test? That's the question. How's it going to do in its track lap times in general?
Okay. 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 Well, it's my turn. So I'm gonna start with the aesthetics, as I always do. I'm an aspiring automotive designer, and so for me, when it comes to the aesthetics, I think it does the job, but it doesn't wow me. I think BMW took a really conservative approach with the design. If anything, I would say the design is kind of lazy in the sense it's not a bad design. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like all in
It's
all,
it's not a complete like it's not a complete um, it's not revolutionary.
yeah, it's
That's
not,
actually what I like about it because it
and that,
still looks like
yeah,
a Beamer.
and that's cool. That's cool. But I'm going to show you another design that I felt like was way more adequate for what the M badge is intended for. And so the M5 design is very conservative. I
Oh,
actually like the
yeah. 5 Series always been big conservative though.
yeah, that's true.
Really
That's true.
has.
That's true. But I think we should spice things up a little bit. But I like the front facer. Um, I like the real hunts on the real wheels. Um, all in all,
I'm actually digging it, man. I'm actually looking at it. I'm like, I would actually drive this car, man.
yeah, I would give it a.
I
I
give
would
it an
give
A.
it. I give it
Give it an
a B.
A.
I'm gonna give you a
Give it an A. Give
I'm gonna give you a B.
it an A.
Okay.
So
And
we
this
both
is
agree it's an A. Y'all hear
we
that? We
both
both agree
agree
it's
that
an
it's a
A.
B.
It's
Yeah,
A.
it's a
A.
B.
A.
It's B. And so look, okay, now when it comes to the powertrain, I kind of differ. I understand where you coming from. I understand your vantage point and your viewpoint on the powertrain, right? I think it has its cons as in the weight, but I'm looking at this car more as an everyday user car and not necessarily the quote unquote race car. And so if we look at it in that perspective, they're saying that this hybrid is a genuine cost saving hybrid. It's a genuine effective gas saving hybrid.
Yeah,
So
they did say that it produces less CO2 than like a what? Like some
um
economy cars that they
yeah, yeah,
named, which is impressive. I
yeah,
give it that. Even
this
though
is
premium
really
cars are not supposed to be economy cars, like I said, they just did that for compliance.
and I think they did an awesome job. And I think when you look at the package, right, and you take out the cons when it comes to racing or racetrack, right, and you look at the everyday usability of the package, I think they did what was the mature thing to do, right? And they had to meet those requirements. And so I think the everyday man and woman will really enjoy this vehicle, right? For everyday use. And I could be wrong, but I think it's 60 kilometers for on battery use, electric. So 40 miles. I could be wrong.
Typically, it's
But
about like 30, between 30 and 40 miles. That's typical for
yeah,
high
so
coast.
it's yeah. So their whole purpose is gas saving, cost saving, and usability. And so I think they did what was right. And plus, in Germany and UK, when it comes to taxing, you have penalties that go against you, and you have to pay a certain tax bracket for gas consumption, your engine size, and they eliminated all of that. So I think wholeheartedly they met the requirements.
Yeah,
Now,
just like I said, it was a necessary evil, but and it's got 717 horsepower. Like when you press the pedal down, like people are not gonna complain about, it's so heavy. You're gonna feel that 717 horsepower. That's way more than what the M5 had before. So the M5 had what 600 horsepower before.
yeah,
So you got an extra 117, you know, on tap. I don't even know if it was 600 horsepower they had. Was it 600?
717, I believe. I could be wrong. It's 700. It's over 700. It's like
No, I'm talking about the
700 something.
previous M5.
The previous M5, I think it was 600 and something. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
600.
that was like 600.
Let me
So
see. Let me hold for a second. Let me see. Previous M5 was the
not the M5 CS, but the M5.
no 625 horsepower.
Yeah,
625.
625. So it's got a, but is it? Yeah, that's the thing though. It's an extra what? I think they said an extra 700 pounds or something
Yeah.
or so.
Yeah.
You're
I
definitely
think
gonna feel that.
yeah, it's gonna be hard to hide it. So I want to show you a gentleman that I've been following. Right, I'm show this time. All right, you see that?
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
it. This is
So yeah,
looks
this
like
is it's a render from a guy named a gentleman named Hackade. And so
okay.
I like what
What you like, man? Okay. All right. I'm like,
what's funny.
man, all right, nothing, man. It's just, it's all right, man.
What's funny?
All right, hey, do your presentation.
Okay, so anyway, I like okay, the front facer I feel like could need some improvement, but I like what he did to the side profile of the car. Right? I think this side profile, even though it's the wagon, I think this side profile is probably um a little bit more special than the OEM, right? I think it's a little bit special, and that's just my take on it. I like what he did with it. I like the things that he did to it, and the front fascia, yeah, it leaves a little bit to be desired, but all in all, I feel like, yeah, if we can take certain elements from his side profile and apply it to the side profile of the BMW.
I mean, it's a wagon though. It's hard to
Yeah, yeah,
really.
yeah. I'm talking about. I mean, but yeah, I think we can incorporate that. But yeah, so I think all in all, my final thoughts of it is I like the system. We both agree that those sacrifices were both that they were adequate and they were necessary, a necessary evil, right? Um,
Yeah,
and
man.
and and their claim is that you won't feel the penalty when you're driving it. That's their claim. We haven't driven the vehicle yet. We don't know. So yeah,
From the first drive review I saw when it was still in camouflage, the guy said that you actually do feel the heft in it.
yeah.
But
So
I don't know. That was maybe the pre-production model. I don't know. So
uh,
we'll have to
I'm
see.
on. Yeah, yeah. Well, I saw a review where the guy said you don't feel anything. It feels just like the M5. So I don't know. I can't say if he's
Only
right.
thing, only thing is about that, whatever trickery they use to disguise the weight, just imagine how it would feel driving something without the extra heft in it.
Yeah. You know what? And
Because if they made that much advancement to the chassis dynamics, just imagine what they could have done with a lighter, naturally aspirated car, like a V8, just a regular V8 or a V8 turbo without the hybrid system.
you know what? And I would accept that too. But moving on, let's move on. We're gonna just keep this one simple and fast and quick. And I'm going to do
Man, Fernando Alonso is the one who wanted the Aston Martin Valiant. He's the one that requested it, saying that he wanted a track car for the road.
okay.
It looks
So, what,
good.
so my question to you, Kenyon. First thing, what is your take on it? What's your initial take on it?
It's got a striking design. Um, I like it, man. I mean, it has a hint of a classical look.
Yeah.
Um, it looks really good. I think it's a handsome car. Um, it definitely shows Aston Martin. They know how to design a good looking car. You know, that's one thing they know how to do. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that the cabin has some buttons in it too.
Oh yeah,
So
a lot of buttons.
yeah, so Aston Martin, they're staying true to that. That's that's what's beating the other guys. But other than that, I mean, I like the Valiant. It's something that Fernando Alonso requested because he wanted a track car, a track ready car, but more road going or more user friendly for the road, daily drivable. Um, Not so much like the Valkyrie, which is pretty much a track car. Um, but this is more driver friendly every day
Yeah,
while it's still
yeah.
capable on the track. So, but I mean, my take on it is it's a lovely looking car. I mean, the spoiler is blended with the body, as you can see,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is interesting. I never, you know,
I mean, that's been like they never. It's very rare that that
it's
has been
very
done.
rare that you see anybody do that.
Yeah,
Blend the spoiler with the body of the car.
yeah. It's
Um,
very rare. It's extremely rare.
but yeah, I love the design, man. I love the front. Um, you know, it's a good looking car. The front of it, the headlamps, everything about it is it's a good looking car. Um, it's almost dare I say I almost wish the Vantage would look like this. But it might be a little
Mm,
too special for the Vantage though. It might be a little too
yeah,
special to be a Vantage.
I like the Vantage, but this,
I like the
I,
Vantage. I mean, but it's just this is just like man,
I
like
think they
I
should
wish
sell
I
this
wish they
though.
would I wish they would continue mass producing that. Let me say
Yeah,
that instead of saying like, oh, I wish the Vantage looked like this, because that I'm not saying the Vantage is ugly. I love the Vantage, but this is a car I wish they would keep. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
gonna be a one off.
Yeah, yeah. They gonna sell about what 40, I
Just
believe.
just
Yeah,
just like the Victor was a one off. Like the Aston Martin Victor was probably my
yeah,
favorite one off that Aston Martin has ever done.
yeah.
You know
I think they said they're gonna
that
sell 30, 30 or 40.
something like that.
Yeah, well, it's still a one out because 30, you ain't gonna see it. Yeah, 38 cars, strictly limited to just 38 cars globally. Like,
How
yeah,
many is the United States getting?
probably,
20.
yeah,
And
probably, probably 20.
then the
But
rest of the
yeah,
world, for the rest of the world, that's how they
yeah,
usually do it.
yeah. But I think my take on it has this neoclassical um design to it, and I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, and it, I'm just kind of taken back, when I look at it, and I think it's a lot more dynamic than the previous one, which is the Aston Martin Valiant. Yeah, a
Hmm.
Vela is, I think it's attractive, but I think this one is actually a little bit more attractive than the Vela. The Yeah, so I think it's a little bit more attractive. But yeah,
I
my
wish these cars weren't one offs.
yeah, likewise, I feel like they should mass produce it, like you said. I feel like they should put it
Yeah.
a slot above the Vantage, right? Maybe even a slot above the DBS, right?
Yeah,
Um,
above the DBS. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
think.
and have it a part of the rotation because they right now they only have for their sedans or their coupes, they only have two cars, and so
Vantage and the
mhm.
DB12, pretty much.
And I think
DBS is the same thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think this one will inject flavor and spice into their lineup, you know. And so yeah, so I think yeah, I'm really feeling it. But one of the things I love about this particular vehicle is that it's a manual transmission, and as I hate to see the manual go, and go away from the automotive industry. I'm glad that there are still some automakers who are trying to implement the manual transmission into the car scene. And so I give Aston Martin all the shout out and all the love for them doing that and implementing that. And so shout out to Aston Martin for implementing the manual transmission, and that's what really stuck out to me about this car. And so I think it's a great car, beautiful car, um, classic, eccentric, all of the above. And so yeah, that's my take on the car. Yeah. So yeah, any last words, Kenya?
I mean, it takes cues from the Valor and the Victor. I almost would say, yeah, they could serialize it, like name it the Valor, and because it looks like if you look at the Victor, it has styling cues from the Victor and the
Yeah,
Valor.
yeah. It
I,
does.
it does, and I wish they would keep. Yeah, I wish they would serialize it and keep it in production. You know,
Yeah, but
that's what I wish.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That Victor, that's my favorite right there.
The Victor, yes, the Victor was my favorite too. It was. That was man. That thing was as sexy as a Batmobile, man.
Yeah,
Man, gosh,
yeah. So
man,
yeah, that was one of my favorite. I'm gonna pull it up before we leave out. So
man. That thing was beautiful, man. It's a crime for them not to keep that in production. A crime,
they
I tell you,
made they
a
made only
crime.
one one. Now that's one of one. Whoever did that, that was just sacrilege.
That's wrong. It's morally wrong. Morally wrong, I tell you. Just one,
Definitely,
only one person gets to drive that car. Man,
it makes no sense
they
whatsoever.
need it. Yeah, but
Well, trying to
I
see
get
where
it.
it's
It's
at.
probably really expensive to mass produce that though. So I understand.
Yeah. Well,
Because
considering this,
it was
this,
expensive. It had a high price tag. The thing was like $700,000 or $800,000 or something
yeah,
for Aston Martin. So yeah, it was expensive.
yeah. So I think the thing is for um, I just say these one-off cars. I mean, they're learning from Ferrari and Lamborghini. Um, they're cool. I think when Ferrari do the one-off cars, not trying to knock them, they're cool. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you create a vehicle that is so immaculate, beautiful, I think you owe it to everybody
Yeah, at
to
least make like 150, like something
exactly.
like that. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a few hundred. You know, because yeah, when Ferrari does a one off or Porsche like does a one off like a 918, you know, or McLaren, they offer like 120 or something or 150, or 300, um, not 30 or 40, you know.
Mhm.
But Aston Martin, they might have be trying to stay within a certain budget. So
No, that's a bad boy right there.
yeah, the Victor was might have been my favorite.
Yeah, the Victor looked like a monster, and it looked like a boss. You can't like the Victor is just like it looked like the way it's supposed to look like, and it looked like a monster in a boss. That's why I like about the Victor. Like yeah, so
Yeah, the Victor was my favorite one off Aston Martin.
yeah, they should have definitely designed this one. Um,
Man.
I think if they would have designed this one, they would have, yeah, yeah, they would have designed this one. Yeah, that's it. That's Autovine magazine in his house.
That's it for today.
That's it for today. That's our spiel for the BMW M5, the Aston Martin Valiant. So yeah, so that's our spiel. This is Donald Seymour,
This is Kay Johnson.
and we are out.
All right, we'll see you next episode. Stay tuned.
Peace.